Hey guys, welcome back. This video, I just wanted to do something quick, short, just to go over what I've experienced during my pregnancy. I'm currently 28 weeks pregnant. So I just wanted to go over the symptoms because I feel like I've had all of them or most of them. So it's been quite the experience. Some people have actually been kind of shocked of how much I've experienced. So I'm not even gonna say anything else but get right into it. So I have my little list here. My first trimester, if you guys have watched, you guys know that I experienced nausea and vomiting. I actually started on week 6, day 4. First trimester was an absolute horror. I was still on progesterone injections, estrogen pills, estrogen patches, progesterone capsules. So what I understand could have caused the nausea and vomiting to be worse because your body naturally increases the progesterone and estrogen while you're pregnant. So the fact that I was giving myself even more could have easily been the reason why it was my morning sickness was as bad as it was. I ended up at the emergency room one night and twice at the urgent care. So at the emergency room they gave me Reglan, and at the urgent care they had given me Diclegis and Zofran. We're gonna move on since that was the main part of my first trimester. However, still in my first trimester, I started to experience heartburn, which I had never experienced in my entire life, and Tums. Nothing worked. It worked for maybe an hour, and then it would just, my whole chest would start burning again. So along with heartburn, I had acid reflux, and we're gonna continue on with that acid reflux in a few minutes. Again, because I was on progesterone and estrogen, that also can cause you to be hungry. So my first trimester, I wasn't hungry, I was starving, to the point where every 45 minutes I wasn't hungry, I was starving. And excuse me, we're gonna go back to this, why this happened. I give the example of, there was one day that I was so hungry. I had been working at home for a month because my nausea and vomiting was so bad that I asked to work from home. So one day when I signed off from work, I immediately went to Burger King. Normally when you have fast food, I don't know about you guys, but me, normally when I have fast food, I feel very bloated. And it could just be even just having a burger, fries, whatever. Fast food, for whatever reason, makes you feel extra bloated. I had a meal at Burger King. I had a Whopper Jr., fries, a Coke, and a Hershey pie, okay? And I had the Hershey pie specifically to take the metal taste out of my mouth, because that's another symptom I had. I had that metal taste in my mouth, which was horrific. So I had the chocolate or the sweet to see if maybe it will work. Well, I felt normal. I felt, after having the meal, I felt satisfied, I guess. I'm not even joking you. Within 45 minutes, I was like, what time is it? What time did I have this meal? Why do I feel so hungry? And it hadn't even been an hour. I think it was like 45 minutes. And I was starving at that point. So my first trimester, between the nausea, vomiting, acid reflux, heartburn, then I started starving. I'm telling you, I was a hot mess. I was hysterical on a daily basis. If it wasn't because I was nauseous or vomiting, whatever, like I was even hysterical from how hungry I was. Because I was like, I'm so done eating. Like, I don't want to eat anymore, but I can't, I literally cannot stop eating. Like, I have to put something in my stomach because, again, it makes the nausea and vomiting worse. So if I don't put something in my stomach, I feel more sick. So it didn't help. So I even got to a point where I told my doctor, I was like, I don't know what to grab out of my pantry anymore. Like, I'm done. I don't know what to eat. Like, everything is just like, I don't want to eat it, but I have to eat something. So that was fun. So another thing that I experienced, kind of like transitioning between the first trimester and second trimester, it might be a little bit TMI, was I had really bad gases. So coming from my back end, and poor Matt, he had to experience those smells. So luckily that was short-lived, but that was another thing that I had experienced, which again, I find funny now, but at that time I was like, oh my Lord, like I'm bombing myself. This is terrible. So second trimester, I started experiencing the acid reflux would not go away. And I didn't realize that I was still experiencing acid reflux, as weird as that sounds, because I kept vomiting in the morning. And then like after a while, I was just like, I don't understand. Like I'm well into my second trimester and I'm still vomiting every single morning. It was like without missing a beat, every single morning I was throwing up. But I was like, you know, it's kind of weird because it's not like I'm throwing up food, like I'm throwing up foam. Like that's what pretty much seems like to be coming out, foam. Then when I Googled it, I was like, oh, that's just acid reflux. So since the beginning of my pregnancy, I have not been able to sleep completely flat. So I have to sleep in an angle to keep the acid down as much as possible. So that has been fun, you can imagine. Charlie horses, the leg cramps. I had no idea that was actually a pregnancy symptom. I Googled it and it is, and my mom actually told me she had a lot of that, and other people have told me, which I had no idea that was even a thing. So the Charlie horses are serious. Another thing, shortness of breath. That has been fun. Just sitting, talking randomly. I think there was 1 or 2 videos where I even mentioned it, that I was like, oh, I feel like I can't breathe. I don't know if this is a symptom, but it's like something I experienced, that it's part of pregnancy. Stretch marks, and not on my belly, knock on wood, I don't want that, but underneath the very bottom of my breast. And kind of surprised by it. I don't know why. It's only the very bottom, and they're like the reddish purplish looking ones. So I think those will kind of go away, but I don't know. Another symptom, low energy. I've had my weeks or days that I don't have the energy for anything. Like everyone was saying, like your first trimester, you're very sleepy. You know, all you want to do is sleep, and that did not happen. I did not have that at all. That was a one symptom in my first trimester that I did not have. Another thing, which I just found out a week and a half ago, because I did the glucose test, that came back normal. The only thing that came back low was the hemoglobin, right? Is that how you say that? But like barely low. So there's like that range of normal. The lowest number you can have is 11.7. I'm 11.6. So it's like on the line pretty much. So the doctor is supposed to prescribe me something, iron, sorry. They're just prescribed me iron, but I'm still waiting for the prescription. So I have my appointment in 2 days, so I'm just gonna ask them to give it to me since the pharmacy still has not received it. Because of the acid reflux that I have had, and I continue actually to have at 28 weeks, believe it or not, I'm just nonstop burping. I burp throughout the day, as you saw earlier. I burped. Sometimes they sound like hiccups. A lot of times they sound like hiccups, but they're burps. But again, at 28 weeks, I'm actually still throwing up every single morning, which is not fun at all, and is due to the acid reflux. I have self-diagnosed myself with GERD, which is I'll leave it down there. And I've read online that there's some women who experience that throughout their pregnancy, but the second that baby's out, it goes away. Another symptom that I have is sweating. That one was also a shocker, and that's been very early on, because that even was in my first trimester, to the point of like the bed was soaking wet at night. And it wasn't that I like peed on myself or anything, it was wet from sweating. But now it's not so much. I do sweat at night, but not to that intensity. but throughout the day, I literally cannot wear. Normally, you can wear your pants like 2 days usually. Like, I'll usually wear my pants twice, max 3 times before I wash it. Now pretty much I can only wear my bottoms once. Like my pants, I can only wear them once because I sweat that much. Another thing, which Matt was the one that had to tell me this one, I'm not one to snore, but since I've become pregnant, that has been a thing, which I was very surprised about. Matt said, yeah, it was like I would say like a month ago. He was like, yeah, you know, on this day you started snoring. And I'm like, are you sure, Matt? Like, are you sure I'm snoring, or am I like breathing hard? He's like, no, you're snoring. And actually, I think I want to say like 2 weeks ago, I caught myself snoring. I think I snored and it woke me up. So I believe him now. And one of the last things I've now just experienced, I think this last week, is lower back pains. And I'll be walking around and it's just like this sharp pain on my lower back, like unbearable. Like every single step is like pain. So that has been fun. I'm obviously feeling the baby. She's getting stronger. She definitely has a little personality, I think, because she does not let me sleep on my left side. Every time I try to sleep on my left side, which is my side that I prefer to sleep on, she kicks me to the point where I can't sleep. So within a minute of me trying to sleep on my left side, she starts kicking me, and then I have to either sleep on my back or on my right side. Those are my symptoms. I'm 28 weeks pregnant, and I don't know, I'm sure I'm missing something because I've experienced a lot, but I have an appointment in 2 days.